Hello everyone, thank you very much for watching. We've had quite a few new subscribers make their way here in the last month. So if you're new, I just want to say thank you for giving me a shot, and I think you will find what I have to offer to be valuable. So part of my goal and part of my objective in creating this content and putting it out there for people is to document my own ascension and my own experiences and relay to you processes esoterically that have worked for me, that have allowed me to expand myself and to manifest faster and just overall better myself, my circumstances, and that of my family. So it is a year ago, almost to the day, that I decided I would fully invest myself in pursuing and opening the Akashic records. And that's exactly what I've done. Being an Akashic Records practitioner a year later is something that was so crazy and so far out of the realm of possibility that, the progress I've made in the last year is more than the decade before that combined. And, the goal isn't to just open the records and have that experience when you're looking to sit down and meditate. The goal is to meld with the records so that it's a live feed 24/7. That is really the only way to take the guessing game out of life. I know a lot of people are experiencing anxiety about the future, and excitement, anticipation, and all of those things are great. But when you meld with the records and you embody your higher self, that waiting game, that guessing game is no longer relevant, because you're just perfectly comfortable, confident, and balanced in any given now moment. Not meaning that you don't have your ups and downs. This is a game of polarity, and that will always be a factor in our experience. But something happened in the last 2 months. I've been super busy doing sessions, and every session I did brought me closer and closer to achieving a meld with my Akashic records. And that meld will allow my guides to have a bigger influence on my everyday life. And moment to moment, at any time, there can be a revelation that comes forward, and is given in a way that really, hits in the right spot to leave an impression on me. And so here's an example of what that meld looks like and what your experience might be like going forward if you are one who is being called into the Akashic records like I have been. So my ultimate goal was to create a course or some kind of teaching curriculum around entering the Akashic records and melding with that space. But in a less empowered state, getting from that idea and then point A to point B, the creation process and manifesting that into being is a completely, a whole nother ball game. And until recently, I had not really been thinking too much about creating that course. And the itch started to come. I started to think about it more. I started to conceptualize certain aspects of that course and what it might look like, what I might charge, just all of those little decisions that have to be made that will eventually solidify the manifestation into being. So the other day, I am just sitting in my living room. Nothing exciting is going on, not even particularly high in vibration, just kind of hanging out, everyday life. And then I get the message very clearly, and the message was shift into gratitude. And so, that struck me as being different, and coming in the way that it did felt different. So what I did is I get up and I go out onto my porch and I start sun gazing. And my attitude and my approach is to just start the process of appreciation and go to the extreme with it, to the point where, I bubble up with emotion at the beauty of the trees, the grass, the smell, the moisture from a rainstorm that had passed. And, I just get myself in a really good spot. And then after getting into that spot, the reason that I was requested to get into a state of gratitude presented itself very clearly in the form of an Akashic Records download. And in a 5-minute period, I downloaded the entire course from start to finish, how much to charge, and when to release it. All of that came within the span of maybe 2 minutes. And then on top of that was a download, chapter by chapter, how to write a book about the Akashic Records. So all of that came within the span of 5 minutes. I took notes in that 5 minutes and just received the entire download from start to finish. And not only the download, but the timeline associated with the creation and the manifestation of that download. A life of abundance, a life of freedom, being able to choose what you do with your time, being able to stay present because you're not in a situation where the schedule is pulling you in all different directions. An opportunity to leave the linear time and at the same time create and manifest something that is healing and needed and meant to provide old souls with the skill set and the opportunity to expand themselves in a way that they can also achieve the highest timeline. So, that is something new. And because I wasn't sitting around waiting, frustrated that something hadn't manifested yet, my guides were able to come through when the time was right very clearly. And not only did they come through with that information from the records for me, but they gave me an early alert so that I could go and get myself in the right place to be able to receive that download in its entirety in detail that I had rarely experienced before. So here we are a year later. I just had one of the most profound conversations in the records that I've ever had. And this is, after 150 sessions where I'm working with people in their records and, just constantly talking for an hour and a half, I received that much information in a span of 5 minutes. And for those of you out there who doubt their ability to have the same experience, based on a lack of worthiness, a lack of feeling important in that way, you couldn't be more wrong about who you are and how your guides think of you. I don't really know how to describe or express how much your soul has invested in you in this experience here, because it's off the charts and nowhere near in the range of my vocabulary to express to you. But the love is real. The investment and the dedication that your guides have to you is real. And most of you who are hearing this call to wake up and to examine their existence and their purpose are Lemurians who have had 50 to 100 lifetimes before we even got out of the gate. That's how long term your soul has invested and sacrificed in order for you to get here in the position that you are during this shift, with the opportunities and the potential that lie here. So with that in mind, don't ever doubt yourself again. Don't ever doubt your importance. Don't ever doubt the level to which you can contribute, because your failure and your lack of investment means catastrophe for this place and for everybody here. That's how important your role is here as the creator in the suit who is looking to expand their own evolutionary blueprint, but also provide brothers and sisters here with the opportunity to co-create a place that is so peaceful, so blissful, and the very definition of paradise. And if you take one thing that I've said from this video, let it be shift into gratitude. because that is the baseline that most of us are operating at to begin with. But like I said, no one's perfect. But when you sit down with the purpose of absorbing and appreciating every aspect of this experience, that blows the doors, the bridge, the portal to the higher self, whatever you want to call it, the Akashic records, wide open for your guides to come through with the solution that you've been waiting for, or the idea that you've been waiting for, or just a simple pat on the back, good job. It's not all profound, divine, cosmic wisdom. A lot of it is just moral support and appreciation for the work you're doing, and acknowledgement of how tough and how much you've sacrificed to get a leg up in this ascension process. Anyway, I hope this video was helpful to you, and it wasn't too elaborate information wise. It was just kind of a personal experience that I want to get people comfortable with and familiar with, so that they can recognize the same signs, and that the guides can grab their attention like they've been wanting to do for quite some time now. Anyway, thank you very much for watching.